In previous class, we were discussed about different types of belt drives. So, as we know, drive is used to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft. So, like source to another shaft or one shaft to another shaft, the drive is used. So, here in belted drive, we use a flexible material which is belt to transmit power from one shaft to another shaft. The belt is mounted on the pulleys. Pulleys are key to the shafts. So here the drive is purely based on the friction between the belt and the pulley. So based on that friction, the power transmission takes place in the belted drives. So here we have seen different types of belt drives like flat belt drive, rope belt drive, V belt drives. All these we have seen different types of belt drives. And next one is advantages of belt drives. We know that the main advantage of belt drive is used to transmit power from one shaft to another shaft, which is at a longer distance. When the two shafts are at a longer distance, the most of the times power is transmitted by belt drives only. So that is the main advantage of the belt drive, and the maintenance is low, and the cost of the belt drive is also less because the belt material is like rubber, balata, canvas, cotton, all these. So that's why the main advantage of the belt is the cost is also low. So that is the main advantages of the belt drive. So where come to the disadvantage? Main disadvantage is the power is transmitted through friction between the belt and pulley. So in sometimes if the load is more, there is a chance of slip. Slip means so pulley will rotate without rotating the belt. In that case, there is a power loss takes place. So that's why it cannot maintain a constant velocity ratio through the power transmission. So that is the main disadvantage of the belted drive. So in that we have seen the design of belted drives. So next one is limitations of the belted drives are all seen in the belted drives. So also we have seen a chain drive. So chain drive is a little bit positive drive than the belt drives. So here in place of belt we use a metal chain, and in place of pulley we use a sprocket to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft. So chain drive is also used where uh, the distance between the two shafts is more. So it should be lesser than the belt drives, but it's some distance. It can be possible to transmit the power from one shaft to another shaft. So this is about the belt drives and chain drives we have seen in the previous classes. So this is about belt drive and chain drive. And next, we are going to learn in this class what is a gear and advantages and limitations of gear drives, types of gear tooth profiles, and types of gears we'll see in this period, and we'll see the spur gear nomenclature. So these are all we can see in this class. So this is a gear drive. So gear drive, here we are seeing animation of gear drive. So one gear is mating with the another gear, so that if one gear rotates, another gear will also rotates di- uh, according to the dias of the gears. So here two gears are mating each other. The gear is what? What is a gear? Gear is a toothed wheel having a special tooth shape or profile, enabling it to mesh smoothly with other gears. So here gear is having a special shape, special tooth shape or profile, so that it can be easily smoothly mesh with other gear. So these two gears must and should have common profile, so that the power transmission will be takes place smoothly. So it is used to transmit power from one shaft to another shaft which are at very close to each other. So here power transmission takes place where the center distance is very less. Center distance between the two shafts is very less. So here why we use gear drives first of all. So in the last previous we were discussed about the belt. Belt is having slipping phenomena. So in the transmission of motion or power between two shafts, there is a chance of slip where the power transmission takes place. So the effect of slipping is to reduce the velocity ratio of the system. So due to this slipping, what happens? The velocity ratio will be reduced. So here, where the gear drives are used, where the exact velocity ratio is must, and they're required only positive drive, then we use gears. So here the gear drive will also provide when the center distance between the two shafts are less, and gear teeth are employed mainly to change the speed. So here we can easily change the speed using the gears, and the power ratio, to change the power ratio we use the gears, and as well as to change the directions also we use, to change the direction of input and output, so then we use the gears. So in these places we use the gears. Gears are used where the exact precise velocity ratio is required, and where the positive drive is required, where the change of speed is required, and where the change of power ratio is required, and where the direction of the two shafts will be changed. There we use gears. And same where the center distance between the two shafts are less. So there we use the gear drives. So here we will see the main advantages of the gear drives. Gear drive is a positive drive, means there is no slip in the gear drives. So it is more compact because the center distance between the two shafts are less, and used where the exact constant velocity ratio is desired. So where there is no slip, there is no change in velocity ratio. So it is used where the constant velocity ratio is required, and it is operated at high speeds. So it can be operated at more high speeds because it has a precise tooth profiles, and there is no slip, So that's why it can be operated at higher speeds. And it is reliable in service. So we can blindly believe the service that it exactly transmits the power. So it cannot be damaged at any point of time. So that is the reliability in the service. And it has higher efficiency. So wide transmitted power ranges. It can be transmitted from slow speeds to high speeds. So in this we can use the gate drives where we required very low speed to very high speed. So in that particular places we use the gate drives. And it is lighter loads on the shafts and bearings. So it doesn't have a high weight, so it is a lesser weight gauge, so that's why lesser weight on the shafts and bearings, so that there is no bending, so that there is no wear out chances in the shafts and bearings. So these are the main advantages of the gear drives. So it is a positive drive and more compact, used where the constant velocity ratio is desired, operated at higher speeds, reliable in service, higher efficiency, wide transmitted power ranges, and lighter load on the shafts and bearings. So these are the advantages of the gear drive over belt drive. So next one is the limitations of the gears. So it is not suitable for the large center distance is the main disadvantages of the gear drives. Whereas the belt drives and chain drives are used where the shafts are at longer distance, but gears are not used where the shafts are at longer distance. So shafts are must and should be at the very lesser distance. So in that case only we can use the gear drives. And the perfect alignment of shaft is required. So there must and should be perfect alignment. If there is any small difference, there is a chance of wear damage to the tooths of the gears. So that's why we cannot use where the perfect alignment is not there in the shafts. So it is unable to absorb the shocks in service because so here in the belt drives it is a flexible material, so that's why it can absorb the shocks, but it is not a flexible one, so it is unable to absorb the shocks in service. And it requires more lubrication than chain drives because it is always in metal to metal contact. So teeth to teeth contact is always there in the transmission, so that's why it must and should be always lubricated. And one more thing is the manufacture of gears requires special tools and equipment. So here the manufacturing of gears require special tools and equipments because precise tooth has to be made. So that's why it requires special tools and equipments. And cost of the gear drives is also more. And one more thing is The error in cutting teeth may cause vibrations and noise during the operation. If there is any mistake in the gear teething, so there is a chance of vibrations and noise during the operation. So that's why it has to be precisely made. Teeth are required for the gears. So, and have an applications. Gears are extensively used in gearboxes and differentials of automobiles. Gears are used in mostly gearboxes and differentials of automobiles. So they are used in screw cutting mechanism on lathe. In lathe also we use for the screw cutting mechanism. So they are widely used in speed reduction and units of steam engines and turbines. So here gears are used in speed reduction units of steam engines and turbines and used in clock and timing units also. So we use gears mainly in watches. So in that case we use gears. So these are the main applications of gears. Gears mainly used in automobiles like gearboxes and differential, and in lathes for screw mechanism, and for the steam engines and turbines for reduction of speed, and used in clocks, timing units. So these are the main applications of the gears. So next is tooth profiles. Different types of tooth profiles. So here, so there are two profiles in which tooth formed are generated. They are cycloid and involute. There are two types of tooth profiles. One is cycloid and involute. The cycloid is one of the first regular profile used for the gay teeth. So it is used in the olden days, not widely used because of difficulties encountered in producing accurate profiles. So here the cycloidal tooths are used, so normally used in regularly used in olden days. So not now using because it is difficulty encountered in producing the accurate profiles. And next one is involute gear. So gears with involute profile are generally used. So here in nowadays gears profiles are in involute. So are particularly useful where great strength and particularly no backlash are important factors as in motor car case. So these are particularly useful where the great strength and particularly no backlash are important factors as like in motor car case. So in nowadays we are using the involute teeth profile only. So this is used where the no backlash is important and it has high strength. So here next one is classification of gears. So the gears may be classified according to the following features. First one is relative position of the shafts. So the position of shafts with the gears. So nothing but axis of shafts with axis of gears, and position of teeth with respect to gear axis. So in first one it is the position of shaft axis with the gear axis. Next one is the position of teeth with respect to gear axis. And third one is form or profile of gear teeth. So that is we have already seen like cycloidal and involute. And next one is according to the peripheral velocity of the gears, according to the type of gearing. So these are the different types of gears. So first we'll see the classification of gears on the basis of the relative position of shafts. So here in this, so here it is the, the position of shafts axis. According to the position of axis of the shafts, the gears are classified as. So according to the position of shafts, first one is spur gears. So use it to connect two coplanar parallel shafts. So both are on the same plane, and both shafts axes are parallel to each other. So like spur gates, helical gates. So these are comes under so spur gates. These are the first shafts which are used to connect two coplanar and parallel shafts. So next one is bevel gates. So use it to connect two coplanar intersecting shafts. So like two shafts axes are intersecting at some point and both are a same plane. So these are the bevel gates. Spiral gates, we use it to connect two non-intersecting non-coplanar shafts. So shafts axes are not intersecting and both are on of not same plane. So those type of gates we called as spiral gates. Fourth one is worm gates. So use it to connect skew shafts. Skew shafts means non-coplanar shafts which are at right angle to each other. Skew shaft is nothing but it is like a cylindrical shape which is having a helical grooves over the shafts. That is skew shafts. Use it to connect two skew shafts which are at right angles. So both are at right angle to each other. So these are the different types of gates according to the position of the shaft, relative position of the shaft. So next one is the classification of gates on basis of relative position of teeth with respect to gear axis. So straight gates like spur gates, spur gates teeth are parallel to the axis of the shaft. So spur gate teeth are parallel to the axis of the shaft. So then Second one is helical gears. Helical gears, the teeth are make certain angle with the axis of the shaft or gear. Here the teeth make certain angle with the axis of the shaft. So herringbone gear is a double helical gear with teeth meeting in the mid of the width. So herringbone gear is the one type of helical gear, but it is having double helical means it has two intersecting angle at some point. So we'll see that in the figure. So there are two types of gears. One is straight gear and helical gears, based on the relative position of teeth with respect to gear axis. So here we can see the various forms of gears. So here first one is the spur gear, we can see here. So spur gears are used for the power transfer in the shafts which are parallel to each other. So both shafts are parallel to each other and both are coplanar also. So it has a straight teeth. So teeth gear teeth is parallel to the axis of the shaft also. So this is the spur gear. Spur gear is having both shafts parallel and teeth of the gear is parallel to the axis of the shaft. Then it is and both are coplanar. Then it is a spur gear. So next one is helical gears. So helical gears are almost same as spur gears, but they have inclined teeth for uniform and silent teeth meshing. So it is helical gears are like same as the spur gears, but the difference is so both the shaft axes are same and both are coplanar, but the difference is the teeth is making some inclination with the axis of the shaft. So this is because inclined teeth for uniform and silent teeth meshing. So easy meshing purpose we use the helical gears. So here power transmitting capacity of helical spur gear is more than that of normal spur gear. So helical gears have more capacity of power transmission than the normal spur gears. So here we can see parallel shafts helical gear and crossed shaft helical gears and herringbone gears. So here both two side helical we have. This side some another inclination and this side another inclination, and these two met at mid of the gear. So this we called as herringbone gear. So here why we use herringbone gears means, so the helical gears some unbalanced force remains in the system due to inclined teeth. So to balance that unbalanced force we use double helical gears which has inclined teeth in both the direction. So in the helical gears we have some unbalanced force. So to compensate that unbalanced force we use this herringbone gears, so which has inclined on both the directions. So this is what the herringbone gives. So next one is bevel gates. So bevel gates are coplanar, but the shafts are intersecting. So this is the bevel gates. So this is mainly used in differential. So like one is having, one we called as sun gear and one is called as planet gears. So this is bevel gears. So these bevel gears are used for the power transmission in the shafts which are perpendicular to each other. So here both the shafts are perpendicular to each other. And next one is spiral gears. So here it is also used to transmit the power in the shafts which are non-coplanar and not parallel. So due to spiral teeth, they provide uniform and silent teeth engagement. So due to the spiral gears, it provides uniform and silent teeth engagement. It has more power transmitting capacity than normal bevel gears. So spiral gears have more power transmitting capacity. So next one is worm and worm gear. So in this, sometimes this type of gear arrangement is used as worm gear. So where the long rod having spiral in the is the worm. So this is the worm. So this shaft is having a long rod is having the spiral is a worm, and we should note that one thing, that worm can rotate the gear. So this worm will rotate the gear. So this to and fro motion of this worm will rotate the gear. So in most of the cases, reverse is not possible in the worm and worm gear. So this is about the different types of gears. We have mainly spur gear is mainly used. So spur gears are used where the shafts are parallel to each other and the teeth is parallel to the axis of the shaft. And second one is the helical gears where the both the shaft of the axis are parallel but teeth of the shaft is inclined to the axis of teeth of the gear is inclined to the shaft. So then it is called helical gears. Herringbone gears are same as helical gears but it has two side inclination. So in the helical gears there is an unbalanced force. To balance that we use the herringbone gears which is having inclination on both sides. Bevel gears is like, so where the shafts are perpendicular to each other. So in that case to transmit the power we use bevel gears. The spiral gear is like bevel gear but it has the inclined skew uh, spiral teeth we use. And worm gear is like, so here the worm is used to rotate the gear. Worm is nothing but a rod which is having a spiral on the rod. So then this is called worm and worm gears. So there are different types of gear materials we use. And one more type of gears are like according to the peripheral speed of the gears, we peripheral velocity of the gears, like we use low velocity gears. Velocity is lesser than the 3 meter per second. So and medium velocity gears where the velocity of the gears is 3 to 15 meter per second. We use medium velocity gears, and high velocity gears which is having more than 15 meter per second, then we use the high velocity gears. So we use there are three different types of velocity. There are three different types of gears based on the peripheral velocity of the gears. One is low velocity gears. So in low velocity gears, the velocity of the gear will be minimum less than the 3 meter per second. For medium velocity gears, the velocity should be 3 to 15 meter per second. For high velocity gears, it is we should be more than 15 meter per second. According to these velocities, we can use different types of gears. And next one is according to the type of gearing. So according to the type of gearing, we have two different types of gearings according to the type of gearing. One is external gearing and another one is internal gearing. External gearing, the motion of two wheels always unlike. So like external gearing, the two shafts are meshed externally to each other. So like these, the two gears meet externally. So here the motion of the two wheels are unlike, both are different. But for the internal gear, the gear should be inside, the gearing should be one of the gear has an internal teething, and another gear is rotates internally mesh with the first gear, so that both having the motion is like same, both rotates in same direction, whereas external gearing both rotates in opposite direction. In internal gearing, both have the same direction rotation, whereas the external loading have the opposite direction rotation. So these are the different types of gearings based on the different types of gears based on the gearing. One is external gearing and another one is internal gearing. And rock and pinion. One more type is rock and pinion. The straight line gear is called rock and circular wheel is called pinion, like worm and worm gear. So with this, we can convert the linear motion of a rod into the circular motion of the shaft, or vice versa. Circular motion into linear motion, or linear motion into circular motion can be converted by rock and pinion arrangement. So these are the different types of gears based on the relative position of the shafts, based on the relative the position of teeth with the axis. And next, according to the profile of the teeth, and according to the peripheral speed of the velocity of the gears, and according to the type of gearing. So next one is gear materials. So commonly used gear materials are cast iron and alloy steels, bronze and plastics. So here for the low speed gears with medium loads and suffering no shocks are made of cast iron. So for the low speed gears with the medium loads we use cast iron with the where there is no shocks. So because cast iron is a brittle material, if there is any shocks, there is a easily get a crack or damaged. So that's why there should not be any shocks when we use the cast iron. And for the larger gear wheels are made of normalized plain carbon. So here the wearing quality of the cast iron is superior. So the wearing quality is lesser. So cast iron does, easily get not weared out. So that's why we use cast iron, but it should not have any impact strength. So it has a less impact strength. So that is there should not be any shocks. Wear rate quality is more, but it doesn't has a impact strength. So that's why it cannot be used at the shocks place. So for the larger gear wheels, we are made of normalized plain carbon steel. For high strength and good wearing quality, the gears are made of alloy steels such as vanadium and chromium steels. For high strength, so combine both high for high strength and good wearing quality, we use alloy steels like vanadium and chromium steel. So gears are made of nickel bronze, resist corrosion and widely used in warm gears. So last one is plastic gears are less noise, but they are inferior to metal gears in load carrying capacity and durability and reliability. So plastic gears are used where less noisy, and but it doesn't has a high load carrying capacity, durability and reliability. In generally, plastic gears are used in watches and precise machines. So in that particular case, we use the plastics. So these are the different types of gear materials we use. So in this class, we were discussed about the what is gear. So where we use the gear mechanism and advantages of gears and disadvantages of gears, different types of gears and gear materials. So these are the different types of gear materials.